Well, let's see. Here we go. And I'm live, I guess. Hey everybody, this is Rock Queen 71 coming at you live from my headquarters in Rocklahoma, and welcome to the backwoods. I hope everything's going well for you guys. I hope life's not dragging you down. I hope you're not getting sucked into the white noise or getting sucked right back into the darkness. Yesterday was my birthday. It was quiet. It was nice. I got my rocket fuel. There you go. There you go. Cheers, guys. Seven Monsters, the only fuel for this Rocket Queen. Hell yeah! Cheers, guys. So what did I do for my birthday? Well, I opened up a gift from my husband, Jim, after 12 on my birthday stream. Unofficial birthday stream. Unofficial birthday stream. That lasted 8 hours. And he went to work, and I pretty much slept all day. That's it. Nothing special, just quiet. But my husband came home early because he didn't hear from me or anything, and he got worried and he panicked, and he came all the way home because he thought something happened. And nothing did happen. I just pretty much slept all day because, my back or, whatever. And he was just a little bit concerned. It's nice to be streaming again outside. We are doing more work of the gas lines. They have a backhoe over there, and I guess they're off for the day. So life is good, guys. Life is good. But when I see back there, I still see reminders of the wildfire from a couple weeks ago. That close, guys. That close. We were that close on losing everything. And a lot of trees are... Oh, thank you. How you doing, Ryder? And I've been praying for you and Froggy because I hope nobody got hurt. "21 forever, baby. 21 forever." Yeah. At least it was just property damage, right? And nobody got hurt. That's the most important thing, right? Yeah. It's a nice day out here in Oklahoma. A little breeze. Sunny. Yeah, what time? All right, hold on. What time? 7 o'clock, right? Or 8? 8 Eastern time, so that's 7 o'clock my time, right? I keep forgetting. You know, it's. Oh, all right. I will be there. I will be there. I, you know, I will be there. You know, I love you, sister. You know that. And sometimes it's just like it gets crazy. Hello, Selena. What's up, girl? How are you? I hope things are well with you. Oh, I missed you too. Yeah, but Ryder, you don't know my life. It's not so simple in this neck of the woods, especially with me. You can ask my husband. He took off today because I wasn't feeling too good. I was feeling sick. Uh, it was because of my back and everything else and stuff, and so he decided to stay home to take care of me. You know, I have a good man. I have a good man. I'm blessed. And then just a few minutes ago, he was talking about retirement. I'm like, what are you talking about, retirement? He's, well, at 62, you know, and I'm like, I mean, he's not 62 yet, but he's planning for it, though. And I said, I don't know. I said, my grandfather retired, you know, in the 70s, and the retirement age was 55. And he wished he never did it. You know, because he had nothing to do but No, I don't worry about it, Selena. If you, I can't, Selena. If you remember, wait, hold on. Darn it. Yeah. Oh, good. Good. But the tension's still there with you and your mother, right? Of course, when she's not telling you anything. I'm glad, you know, something's done about that. But you really had to sit down with your mother and actually talk. I mean, really talk to her. Well, good. I'm happy about that. And sometimes you had to have difficult conversations with, you know, with your parents. Eat a nice meal and who paid for the dinner? You? Say, Mom, I'll take you out. That's what I had to do with my mother at times. Just me and her. Sometimes I would bribe my whole family, like, let's go out to eat to the diner or something. Awesome. Awesome. And you're welcome. Anytime, Selena, you come in here and you just talk. That makes me happy hearing that. You know what I mean? I only give suggestions. I don't give advice. You know? And I'm glad it worked out for you, though. Well, last night I had a birthday. Well, yesterday I had my 21st birthday. I had my 21st birthday times 32. No, Harley Road Glide, Rocket Queen. Yeah. I don't drink. I'm in recovery. I don't drink. Nope. Yeah, I drink this. My rocket fuel, which is Java Monster and stuff. I don't drink. Hell no. Oh. Oh, okay. All right. You have to clarify that, okay? Oh, man, I was tearing it up. I almost got arrested by the cops. Yeah. Good times, good times. Hey, but I didn't pray to the porcelain god or anything, so that's a good thing, right? Thank you. Do I miss drinking? No, I don't. I don't because it wasn't working for me. It made me towards the end I didn't want to be around anybody. And that's what alcohol does, okay? And drugs, by the way. It isolates you, saying, I'll be there for you always. And the alcohol and the drugs were my lover, my friend, everything. You know, but towards the end of my drinking, yeah, I even scared the cats how I got. You know, I had 4 cats back in Jersey. Rosie, Chips, and they had 2 kittens together. Fluffy and Magellan. And Magellan's buried over there and stuff. Rosie didn't make it to the trip to Oklahoma, but oh well. But yeah, I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be around people. I was bitter at the world. You know, my justification was, hey, at least it's not the dope and crack, right? But I knew the alcohol was gonna end up just like the crack and heroin. You know, but I was pushing the envelope a lot with that. I didn't love myself at all. Hey, T-Bone, what's up, boy? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, brother. You know that. I can't read what I'm. It's my age. Wait, I'm so sorry for your loss, but I'm so happy for your recovery. I hate alcohol and drugs. I will not lie and say I never had those things, but never again. I'm a better person. Exactly! Shoot, I'm just kicking like a chicken. But are you... Well, see, I was going to say... See, T-Bone, I was going to say something. But I can't. You know why? Because this is a family-friendly stream. I think you know where I was going with that. But whatever. Usually my Jersey filter is non-existent. You know what I'm talking about. And somehow or you're like, I'm like, no, Vic, no, no. But yeah, I am a better person without the drugs and alcohol. Like I said, it wasn't working for me. I was gonna die within 6 months if I didn't. And I know that for a fact. When I lost my husband on February 25th, 2011, a lot of my family thought I was going to die within 6 months because of the heartache and just, I totally gave up on myself, my family, everything. I know. Wait, oh my God. Exactly. It's because of the sun. And plus my silver hair, I look like Goku from, Dragon Ball Z? I love you, Ryder, you know that. And I told you, if you need any help with anything, with your stream or whatever, let me know. And I will be there. Be safe. They don't have to worry about me. Maybe just a little, but yeah, Selena, addiction can make you do things you never thought you would do. Or make you go to places where you didn't think even existed. And all that. All right. Love you, T-Bone. Love you, brother. Thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate it. My addictive was, my doctor, your doctor. Ugh, I can't read with these glasses on. What? My dad was addicted and passed away doing the thing he loved, rolling a blunt. Well, that didn't kill him. He probably, how did he die? If I may ask. My father died from alcoholism when I was 16. I'm sorry, hon. Yeah, that... I kind of figured. Here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you a hug, all right? And this is how I'm going to do it this way, all right? Oh, there. Did you feel it? Losing a parent at any age is hard. Even at 62. All right, my sister-in-law lost, my mother-in-law a couple of years ago, and that just killed her. She really gave up on life then. But my father, they found out he had a brain tumor, right? but he was dying of alcoholism, okay? And so that was a wall between us. So I guess I'm living vicariously, or he's living to a certain extent vicariously through me, having a sober life and everything else. You know what I mean? Oh, there's the kitten. Oh, no, that's Junior. Junior! Yo! But, and I did a stream like a couple of weeks ago and stuff. Uh, I did a stream on February 4th, and, I dedicated the stream to my dad, right? And I was talking about him, whatever, and then all of a sudden, bam! It just hit me. I just broke down and cried. I mean, I talked about my father all the time. And when that happened, it still affects me. But that's okay. That's life. I wish my son's middle name is his middle name. Oh, I believe that. I truly believe that. Like I said to you before, my father, his spirit is living vicariously through me. So I wish he was still, he saw his grandkids, and whatever, but I'm talking about my grandkids. I have 3 half brothers and 1 half sister. I saw my 3 half brothers twice at my grandfather's funeral and at my father's funeral. I never saw my half sister in all my life. I've heard about her, but she had issues herself, So if I bumped into her in town, I wouldn't even know, And so, actually, when it comes to my 3 half brothers, I actually looked them up on Facebook or on the internet. I couldn't find my oldest one, but I found one that was actually in the Navy and stuff, and I think now he lives in Florida. But he's a spitting image of my father, I'll tell you that much. The last time I saw my half brother Tommy, he had a mustache. He was still in the Navy. He made a career out of it, and he was living in Annapolis. And so now he has his mustache off, and he looks like my father. I was like, oh my God, Well, you never know. Maybe they'll see you on Facebook or whatever, and But I never when I saw my half brother Tommy. I said, what's the sense to reaching out to them? You know what I mean? And believe me, I thought about it hard. There's no sense to it. But they did say at my father's funeral, oh, we'll keep in touch and all that stuff. Well, something happened with my father's will. He never had a will, by the way. It was, whatever, right? And all 3 of my half brothers were drunk and just whatever. And I was like, screw that. I mean, So I just let them go. But of course, when years go on, you say, oh, I wonder if, they're still living or whatever. I know they don't think about me, but yeah, I think about them, and but what's the sense to it? So I just live my life the best I know how right now. Even like with barely anyone was at my dad's funeral, and I got all of his stuff. We had a will. He had a will. Funny enough, like he knew, but he was so young. He was in his early 20s when he passed. Well, I'll tell you something. My sister-in-law, after my mother-in-law passed away, uh, my sister-in-law died suddenly. Okay, and she had insurance, life insurance, but she just started paying for life insurance. So I think she only had like $500 or something, right? And all that. So the rest of the family had to pay for her. She didn't have no service or anything, right? But I told Jim, and I told Jim, ask them if we could just see her, you know, uh, and so they let us see her. But guess what? I was sick with my back. Jim was sick because he, it was just too much. So they did have some, they showed her and stuff or whatever, but we didn't go. And I feel bad about that because I'm the one that said, well, see if they could just lay her out for a couple hours so we could just see her, and then we didn't go. You know, but she knew. But she knew. She there was several times like uh, she wasn't feeling well, and she came to the house here, and she was like, incoherent and all that stuff, and we made her something to eat, and she ate a little something, whatever. And then she went to the doctors, and they said, well, she was diabetic, and then she had congestive heart failure. So at any time she could have gone. And that day, I was streaming, and it so happens it was weird. I was doing AI art, and I actually made an angel, right? My husband comes in saying, where's my phone? Where's my phone? I said, what's going on? Oh, no, I just finished streaming. He says, where's my phone? Where's my phone? I said, what's going on? Well, we think Ann's dead. I had to call Jessica. I said, what are you talking about? And my adrenaline was coursing through my veins. It was like a car having that NOS. You know what I'm talking about? I said, where is she? And she said, well, no, she's by the garage and stuff. So I ran over there, and I swear it felt like I was in Baywatch. Very in slow motion and all that stuff. And I got to the gate, and I stopped, and I saw them working on her. And I was like, oh, my God. I knew she was, you could tell because her skin was ashen, even from far away. I was like, that's it. The EMTs guy that usually comes here for my back when I'm having a real bad back attack or whatever, came to me, and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, well, what's going on with her? Her. Well, we're working on her and whatever. And you know what he said to me? He said, we thought it was for you because they're always coming to the house for my back. And here I was trying not to get into a panic attack. I said, Vic, and my pain in my back was like bad because I ran all the way over there. So I'm saying just don't do anything. Just, stay calm, whatever. Jim comes and stuff. And but yeah, we lost her. They were working on her, and the last thing I said to my sister-in-law, they put her in the ambulance and whatever, and of course, this one girl says, "Oh, we're doing the best we can." Now, when they say that, she's gone. Okay, I already knew that, but they don't want to tell you that. You see, because they're still trying to work on her, right? So the last thing they put her in the ambulance and stuff, and we were walking away. I said, "I love you, Ann." And I wanted to go to the hospital with Jim. I wanted to hold her hand. And Jim says, "Listen, you're not going with me." I said, "What do you mean I'm not going with you? I want to go." He's like, "Nope, you're not going." He says, "Because you're not in no shape to go because of my back and my pants. Right?" He's like, "Take your medication. I'll call you from the hospital and stuff." I said, "Well, I want to go to be with her. I want her to hold. I want to hold her hand. I want to comfort her. I want." He's like, "No, you're not going." But the other two went. Anyway, so I was laying down just to relax, but I felt so numb because I knew she was just gone. And he called me up. He said, "Yeah, the doctors asked when we got there if we should continue." And he made the call saying, "No, don't, just stop," and all that stuff. Uh, because she would have never been right anyway. You know what I mean? If she did survive. So she's with mom. but but I feel so blessed to really be living at this age because I should have been dead years ago. You know. Well, the thing about this, Selena, is when my mother-in-law passed away on November 19th, 2001, I got her a card. Okay, we had our sister time. We had more sister time together. Okay, and a lot of people misunderstood her, and she wrote some text messages on the phone saying, "Vicky, I want to get close to you more. I love you. You're a good person," and all that stuff. I must have deleted her text messages by accident. I still have her phone number on my phone. I'm gonna get those messages back. There's a way of getting it. But we were doing our sister thing one time. We were going to Sonic, and our little, sister time was going to Sonic getting blackberry iced tea. And Dr. Pepper came out with a new flavor, blackberry soda, right? And right away I thought of her, and all that stuff. I said, we would have got a whole freaking truckload if she was alive. But she told me, she says, "I'm 62, or what, well, I'm 63 or whatever." She says, "I've had my mother all my life, and now I'm going to lose her." So when she said that, I'm thinking about my mother, and she's back in the nursing home in Jersey. But, and the thing about it too is, She was the crazy cat lady of the family, okay? So I got my cats from her. All right, whatever. But she had a dog named Monster, and that dog was never trained or anything. And so I was stressed out about, well, how are we going to take care of Monster and stuff? We can't have him in our house because he kills cats. And so Jessica, her daughter, and I said, well, why don't you call, you know, uh, my mom is waiting until she's 40 to transition to a crazy cat lady. Midlife crisis. That's when it happens. But I'm still 21, so I don't. But no, her being a crazy cat lady went to extremes. Uh, you know what? And I don't know how she get. But anyway, I told my mother-in-law. I said, that house should be condemned, right? And my mother-in-law, I swear to God, because we had our talks, and she looked at me like, I disrespected her. And I said, well, it's the truth, Mom. I mean, they're not going to fix that house because, everything was wrong with it. So I don't know what they're going to do with that property and stuff. It's up to the kids. We're out of it. I know what I would do with it, but that's up to them. But, yeah. But like I said, I feel lucky that I survived to this age. I want to take care of myself more. And, but my back issues, it's like, I try to deal with it the best that I can. Rocket fuel. Child Monster is the only rocket fuel for this rock queen. Hell yeah! But it's. But when you see a death in the family or say a friend or whatever, and it makes you think about your mortality, My abuela, right, right, is in her 70s and she's kicking. She refuses to stop. Well, that's the same thing with my mother-in-law. Yeah, you have to. You have to keep moving. Even the doctor told me you can't just sit there all freaking day. What's up, Ray? How's it going, brother? I hope you're having a good day. Life is beautiful. Noah's Ark. Back in Jersey, they have a pet sanctuary, like a pound, called Noah's Ark in Necon. It was the worst thing, but Kentucky, you gonna visit the original KFC restaurant? They're finding things about Noah's Ark now. Like it's, take some pictures. It's sad about what happened to Colonel Sanders. He was penniless when he died. They did him wrong. And I think you can actually eat there too. Take some pictures. See, I love going to stuff like that. You know, when we had our second wedding anniversary and stuff, my husband and I went down to went on a road trip through Route 66. You know, just for a little drive and stuff. And we stopped in museums and all that because I love doing that kind of stuff. That's even better. I have so much crap on my computer and stuff. It's great. My with my husband and stuff. He has all these videos and whatever. He has all these ideas, and he just like, you know. But I hope you have a good time. Enjoy life. You just never know, you know. Yep, you just never know. That's why hey, hold on. I just want to drop in and say hi. It's dinner time for me going to eat. Hope you have a wonderful day. What's left of it? Oh, I will. I will, Ray. I'm doing it right now. You know, it's a nice, beautiful evening. Tell you the truth, I'm actually surprised that I'm out here because of my back and everything else and stuff. You know what? All right, so Selena, what kind of favorite ice cream? What's your favorite kind of ice cream? I like chocolate chip mint. But when we went shopping, cookies and cream or turtle, yeah. But I like real ice cream, not the frozen dairy dessert and stuff like that. You know? Oh, nice. There's an ice cream by Tillamook, and it's a ice cream company in Oregon, and they have a ice cream flavor called Marionberry, and I've been wanting to try it, and they get sold out of it at the store. But when we went shopping, I got 2 cartons of ice cream. Uh, they didn't have the Marionberry, so they gave me apple crisp, and they have the it's like Rocky Road in a way. I think it's caramel truffle, but that's like a high end ice cream. You know what I mean? Nowadays, these companies only make frozen dairy desserts. It's not real ice cream. So what is it? But I like ice cream Winter, fall, spring, summer. Nice. Nice. Blueberries are a good source of antioxidants and stuff, and that's good for like back pain, for inflammation and stuff. So I've been eating a lot of blueberries. So enjoy one spoonful at a time. I would like to make my own ice cream one time. You know, and they're very political. Okay, they're very woke, Ben and Jerry's. But I just like their almond joy ice cream. They don't make that anymore. But I like their Chunky Monkey, the Tonight Show one with Jimmy Fallon. But they're expensive. I mean, they're outrageous. I can eat a whole pint of that in one sitting, no problem whatsoever. Yes, but don't eat the Stephen Colbert one because he's so freaking woke. I don't care how good it is. I don't. I don't. I don't eat Stephen. I don't eat Stephen Colbert's. I like Jimmy Fallon. I like some of the skits that he does and whatever, you know. But the late night talk shows aren't like they used to be. They're not like Johnny Carson or David Letterman. I used to watch Johnny Carson's show a lot with my grandmother. Nobody will replace Johnny Carson. Nobody. He was a class act. I get to make free ice cream from smoothies at my job, so I take advantage when I can. Well, hell, I would too. I would too. Nowadays, these fast food companies, they don't give you free meals like they used to. They'll give you a discount of like 20%. You know, they don't give the employees like, free hamburgers or free chicken or whatever. You still have to pay for it, which is bullshit, but And a bath? Oh, and sorry, in both. What's energy boost? Like a gummy or something? Oh, all right. So it's like a protein ice cream, right? I get like Nature Valley, granola bars for us sometimes, but they can be expensive. And to me, they're they're just as like candy bars. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But you have to watch it when they say like protein bars, and you know what I'm talking about. They're pretty much like candy, you know. Well, enjoy it. Have a couple of bites for me. Well, I'll be eating it in spirit with you. Wouldn't it, wouldn't it be like high gritty with the protein powder? Or I mean, but you mix it in really good, right? Oh, really? I have to check that out. I'd rather have a real smoothie instead of the store bought ones, you know. Oh, all right. Yeah, but don't eat them all the time as a meal, if you know what I mean, because, I had a friend, and this is no joke, where he contradicted himself. He would work out in the gym, drink like the protein shakes and stuff, and I'll smoke crack and stuff. It was so freaking nuts. I'm like, but yeah. My husband gave me a box of candy last night, and and so uh, he came home from work early because he thought something happened to me or whatever. And he's like, "Where's the box of candy? Did you eat them all?" I said, "No, I put them back in the box." Because to me, can't chocolate is like crack to me. I'll just keep once too many and thousands never enough. But I haven't tried the ice cream we got a couple days ago, but I will. I will soon. I know that. How long have you been working there for? Yeah, I remember. Yep. He's a keeper. He's a keeper. He is a keeper. He should surprise you into going back home and giving you the laptop or your birthday present on Saturday. Good. You're working for your money, honey. That's a good thing. I wished you a very happy birthday also. Are you planning anything special on your special day? I ain't doing anything special for my birthday and stuff. I was in a way my husband stayed home that day, but he had to work. But now the day after, you know, but his birthday's coming up on April 30th. Oh, you're seeing him in June? Are you going to Ohio or he's coming back to Georgia? That would be nice, right? To see him for a while. I'm going to say this. Don't do anything to change your life forever, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. If you know what I mean. It only takes one time, honey. I'm just saying. Because you don't need that right now. He's trying to get his life. He's trying to be a man, and you're trying to get your life. You know. He's coming to Georgia for a month and then going home to finish paying for things in Ohio. Then we are starting our lives together next year. So he's been in college for 4 years, right? And I won't. Oh, my friend. Oh, I won't. My friends are good company. They only build me up. Not just. Yeah, but I was talking about something else, honey. With you and your boyfriend, your fiance. Yeah, but if he's being an engineer, that is. So he's just going for his bachelor's then. Because if he's going for his master's, it takes about 8 years or more. But like I said, don't do anything to ruin your life. It only takes one time, you know. He's going for the 18 year. Yeah, my school is really has a really good program. 8, yeah. I knew what you meant. I told you it was. have a friend in Maine, and he worked for a biomedical company because they were contracted to make the vaccine and stuff. And that I'm not gonna get into that, but he went back to school to get his master's, and he did it. And but he had a family of two, and he was married, and he was juggling all this around. I said, I don't know how you could do it. You know what I mean? If you have the time and money, and plus they have the where you can do it on the computer anyway. Some of these universities, like Phoenix University, or you know. I should go back to school, but I don't. I I told Colin, my fiance, that we have to wait for kids, but honestly, I'm so excited. Yeah, well, yeah. Contain that excitement for after you get married and settle. Because believe me, the way that the economy is now, with inflation and everything else, forget it. I'm just saying, you can do whatever you want, you know. And it's hard for young couples to start out today. It really is. But it's hard for any couple to start out, especially if somebody gets pregnant before before marriage or something like that. Live and learn. Yes, yes, I want to be married and have a stable job and home. I don't want to feel so unprepared. I mean, everyone feels unprepared, but I want to be ready to be unprepared. All you can do is just do what you're doing. You know? You see all these, you know what? You see all these prepper channels, okay? My husband watches a lot of prepper channels. I watch prepper channels, but not as much as he does, all right? And they're like, all doom and gloom, most of them. Like the Canadian prepper and all this crap, because they do that because they want you to buy their stuff, like MRAs and all this other crap, right? They fear monger, and I hate that. But this Canadian prepper is very arrogant. He thinks he knows everything and all that. I hate him, to tell you the truth. But as long as stuff happens in life, right? The unexpected happens in life, whether it be a pregnancy, a death, whatever it is and stuff. All you can do is the best you can, right? And then you try to figure out how you're going to work things out. My husband and stuff is a prepper, okay? He's not like an extreme prepper. I'm a prepper to a certain extent because I do buy, like, say, trail cams, or I'll do certain things, but I'm not like, these extremists and all that, you know. You're never going to be fully prepared. But just go with the flow. You know what I mean? Just go with the flow. And live life on life's terms as best you can. I know I try to. Especially with the way my back is. You know what I mean? I know he's the one though. I have been through the ringer of people. But I can't eat this glass. But he's the one who really cares about me and helps me to succeed. And that's a good man. And you're going to help him succeed getting that engineering degree, right? Jim, my husband, wants me to succeed in streaming, and he's so proud of me with what I'm trying to accomplish and stuff. You know? And you should be. Because a lot of these kids nowadays, they don't want to do shit. I'm just saying, they just, they just want to get a paycheck for nothing. You know what I'm talking about? It's helpful sometimes. He gets distracted. So, yeah. Oh, I know what being distracted is all about. Like for me and stuff, I'll work on one project and stuff. If I hit a snag, I'll go somewhere else. And it's like my brain, my thoughts, or my, like my ideas are like a pinball and a pinball machine. Bing, 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 bing. And then the project never gets done. As long as he keeps his eye on the prize. So he's not a part of like a fraternity, right? Like somebody sponsored him in a fraternity. And being in like a fraternity or a sorority is like the worst. It's basically who's popular. I'll do it after this. Okay. After this. Okay, after this. And then. And I know what you're talking about because I told you the same. I'm the same way. Oh, he already has his son? His mom is... He already has a baby? Oh, I did. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that. Yeah, that's a big age difference. That's like a whole generation right there. Yeah. Well, I'm the same way. I can't explain certain things either at times. That's my husband. He knows. I'll just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and forget. I never really get to the point. I had a boyfriend, my first boyfriend. His mother, right? This is funny. His mother thought she was going through menopause, right? And oops, an accident happened, and here he was born, and his sisters are like 10 years older than him, right? So it happens. Zayden. Oh, that's a cool name. Zadia. Is that oh wait. Zadie. Sorry. Zayden. I actually like that name. Zayden. Yes. Exactly. It's not like some of these actors or actresses, they call their kids like really weird names, like Gwyneth Paltrow actually named her son or daughter Apple, or like Julia Roberts named uh, one of the twins Phineas, like like the character went around the world in 80 days or whatever. But that's them, right? So listen, Selena, I had to get off because it's getting kind of dark. And all that. But you know what? Hold on for a minute. Let's go around here. I want you to see a sunset, if you can. Well, you can. Well, I don't know if you can see it. The trees are blocking the way, but I'm gonna tell you something. Oklahoma's the best sunsets. You know what I'm talking about? I wish the trees weren't in the way, but anyway, I just wanted to show you that real quick. But I really have to get going because it's getting dark, and I have to make myself something to eat and whatever. But um, well, it's your kid. If you have a baby, that's your kid. It's not hers. You know, she can suggest stuff, but yes, it was awesome talking to you too. Well, you too. Here, let me give you another hug. You know how we do the hugs, right? Oh, look at all. There you go. That's how I'll do my hugs from now on when I'm on the phone out here. You have a rocktastic night and stay awesome, okay?